This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening, everyone. An elderly man has died after losing control of his car on a slippery road at Forth. Police are investigating whether the driver was going too fast when he crashed on the rural stretch of road in the state's northwest.
The driver had been travelling north on a windy section of Wilmot Road late this morning when his car slid off the road and into a barrier. The 77-year-old from the local area died on impact. He was the only occupant of the vehicle.
There has been some other vehicles that have arrived at the scene shortly afterwards, and they've been able to assist us with some information.
Police from Ulverston, along with crash investigators, closed the road for several hours while the Holden sedan was towed away. Speed hasn't been ruled out as a contributing factor. The road has a speed limit of 100 kilometres per hour.
If the roads are wet, if they're damp, if it's slippery, then mind your speed.
Police say Wilmot Road can be dangerous in poor driving conditions, and it's likely today's wet weather contributed to the crash.
Apart from that, no, we still need to make some more inquiries.
It brings the state's road toll to 24 compared with 21 this time last year. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
Hydro Tasmania and Basslink could be set for an expensive and drawn-out legal battle over the cable's 2015 failure. Overnight, Basslink issued a notice of dispute to recover money it claims it's owed.
The Basslink cable may be fixed, but the fallout from the catastrophic failure continues. Almost 3 years on from the original outage, Hydro and Basslink are at odds over what caused the cable to break. Now a potential legal battle looms.
Essentially, the judge is going to have two different expert reports. One saying the failure was an unknown cause, and the other one saying the failure was because the cable was run too hard.
Hydro claims the cable was operated by Basslink outside its design limits, causing the failure. Basslink denies this, saying it was a force majeure, some unknown event. Overnight, the cable owner confirming its next step. A statement saying Hydro Tasmania didn't accept the incident was a force majeure event and withheld fees. By issuing a notice of dispute, Basslink seeks to recover the withheld monies.
We always would hope that legal cases are not protracted. However, it'd be completely inappropriate for me to go into the detail of a matter such as this. It's very complicated, but the government will always advocate for the best outcomes of Tasmania in matters such as this.
An energy analyst says as well as the costs of the energy crisis, Hydro is also facing lost earnings, with the cable's capacity downgraded, limiting interstate energy exports.
Well, the consequential costs are $120 million from the failure and potentially another $100 million in future lost earnings. So potentially it's a very significant matter.
Basslink hasn't revealed the exact dollar amount it's seeking. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Local health authorities are urging Tasmanians to be vigilant of the intentional contamination of strawberries with needles. Spiked fruit have appeared in interstate supermarkets, but Public Health says it's investigating if any affected brands were distributed here. It's urging Tasmanians to take special precautions by cutting up all fresh strawberries from interstate growers before eating. Anyone who discovers a malicious strawberry should contact Crime Stoppers. A group of Hobart University students have braved the elements today and walked a wooden table up to Mount Wellington summit, all in the name of charity. The group aiming to raise over $2,000 for Cancer Council Tasmania.
So it is quite a feat. The table weighs just short of 100 kilos, so between the 9 of us switching in and out, yeah, it does take a bit of a toll.
Around 6 hours to complete the 20-kilometre trek and say they're now enjoying a hard-earned rest. The next generation of police recruits is about to start training here in Tasmania, with German Shepherd puppies joining the nation's Paw Patrol. If the 4 pups make the cut, they could be sniffing out crimes right across the country.
They're only little now, but these 8-week-old fluff balls could soon be Australia's toughest crime busters.
But they're still babies, so they're still just little potatoes with legs running around, so we don't expect too much from them at this age.
They're being prepared for a possible career with Victoria Police, learning everything from searching for missing people to detecting drugs.
And we're asking the dog to do some pretty incredible stuff, which your average pet doesn't need to do.
Certainly under this program, we expect them to have the very best opportunity to do so.
Today meeting their foster families, Tasmania Police employees, who will help with their training over the next 12 months.
Very intense, but they're bred for it. It really is dictated by their behaviour and how they respond to it.
It's a pilot program run by our police force, and while they'll be sent to Victoria if they make the cut, they could be back on home turf should the need arise.
And when we require a general purpose dog like this, we get our friends in Victoria Police to send one over.
And they come from good stock, with parents brought over from the Czech Republic.
They have high prey drive, they have got superb tracking skills.
But for now, it's all fun and games until this paw patrol hits the streets. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
North Launceston has done it again, defeating Lauderdale in today's Tasmanian State League Grand Final to claim back-to-back flags. Tom Johnson is in the thick of it at UTAS Stadium. Tom, this team is becoming something of a dynasty in the league.
Yeah, it certainly is, Tom. Well, this is a North Launceston team which has won 4 of its last 5 flags now. Today it came against Lauderdale with a 30-point margin. Fantastic game. And I'm joined now by one of the stars, Taron Thomas. And mate, you've played in 2 of these flags now. How does it feel?
Yeah, no, always good to win a flag with all the boys. So, yeah, no, awesome feeling.
How would you describe the performance today from the team? It was obviously very tight at half-time, only a point in it. How did it play out?
Yeah, we didn't play our best footy at the first quarter, but we went all right with our pressure and stuff like that. But after half-time, we picked our game up and, yeah, we were on, yeah.
And for you personally, mate, you're going to be going to the draft combine, looking for a selection at the draft this year. Yeah. To have a success like this, what does it mean for you personally?
Yeah, no, a big opportunity to perform, but yeah, it's always good to go to draft. Yeah, that's all right, yeah.
We're wishing you all the best in it, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
And hey, let's have a look at how the day unfolded.
Predictions of an early North Launceston onslaught didn't eventuate as Lauderdale exerted early dominance on the match. A free kick to Tim Mosquito directly in front, seeing the visitors go 2 majors up, with the reigning premiers struggling to get settled. Always rising for the big games, North skipper Brad Cox-Goodyear put his thumping left boot to work to claw one back before Flying star Tom Couch set about justifying his spot, seeing the home side up by just a point at the first change. Tempers threatened to flare when things resumed, but Bart McCulloch kept a cool head in front of the sticks. Some trickery from Tutai Havea setting Lauderdale up for another, with Mosquito booting his second of the day to keep things close. And as things went cold on the scoreboard, the contest heated up. Bo Sharman booking a date with the tribunal and leaving Lauderdale skipper Bryce Walsh out of sorts. The Northern Bombers coach also in hot water for this bump on Robbie McManus. With just a single point separating the sides heading into the third, Tom Bennett decided it was a good time to provide one of the goals of the year, as Taron Thomas showed why he's the state's most exciting draft prospect, extending the lead to 15 points. Some heavy pressure inside 50, allowing Hayden Smith a chance to close the gap, but the Lauderdale ruckman couldn't see it through. Rising star Sharon Egger holding on for dear life to make them pay, with Thomas then taking to the skies, not once, but twice, to put the flag favourites in the box seat. The group going on to cement itself as one of the best in TSL history, claiming their 4th flag in the last 5 years with a 30-point win. Skipper Brad Cox-Goodyear capping off a huge year, awarded the Bulldog Medal for best on ground. Glenorchy and Clarence set the tone earlier in the TSLW, with the match coming down to the wire. Following a hotly contested 3 quarters, the Roos boasted a 10-point lead heading into the final change before the Pies shifted things in their favour, booting 2 quick majors in a nail-biting finish as Glenorchy held on to claim a thrilling 2-point win, with Macklin Sutcliffe awarded best on-ground honours. Earlier in the day, Launceston rounded out a perfect year, claiming the Mercury Cup after going through the season undefeated. The Blues were never troubled by crosstown rivals North Launceston in today's big dance, running out 34-point winners. Jacob Boyd was awarded best on ground for Launceston, while Blair Rubok kicked 2 majors in the 49-15-point victory. And it's been a thriller in the North West Football League Grand Final at Latrobe. Ulverston looks set to cause a boil-over after leading Burnie at every break, but the Dockers flicked the switch in the final term, booting 4 goals to 1 to wrestle control of the match. Burnie claiming the flag over the Robins, 10 goals, 14-74 to 8 goals, 10-58. And players wore black armbands in the NTFA Division 1 preliminary final at Youngtown following the death of the league's president, Paul Reynolds. It was all Bracknell on the field. The Redlegs held a commanding 45-point lead at half-time before keeping Scottsdale to just 2 goals after the main break, while Bracknell polled on 6 majors in the third and fourth terms to run out 77-point winners. It sets up a grand final rematch next week against reigning premiers South Launceston. OHA have been crowned the 2018 Tasmanian Premier League hockey champions in Hobart a short time ago. After a dominant win over University, the sides were locked at 1 goal apiece come quarter time before OHA stepped things up, putting 3 more through to run home 4-2 winners. Earlier in the day, the North-West grads proved too strong in the women's decider, putting 2 unanswered goals through against OHA to claim their 3rd consecutive premiership.
Good evening. Rain developed early on with showers statewide. A gusty day with winds of up to 141 kilometres per hour recorded at Mount Wellington. Hobart and Launceston both 14, tops of 12 for Burnie and Devonport reaching 13. The state's top was 17 degrees recorded at Friendly Beaches. Flinders Island 16 today, 14 for St Helens, Lowhead Grove and Ooze all 13, 11 for Smithton, Strawn and King Island, Lyowini up to 4, Mount Reid with a top of just 2 degrees today. Overcast conditions in the west on the close-up there with low to mid-level cloud band moving off the east coast. On the satellite, the cloud band obvious to the south and east of Tasmania. Cold speckled low cloud in the west and the Bight. The remainder of the country relatively cloud-free due to a high. Tomorrow, a large high sits over South Australia, extending ridges over the entire country. A cold front approaches southwest WA. Coastal waters and west to southwesterly winds at 20 to 30 knots, easing to 15 to 25 knots during the morning. Swells up to 6 metres in the west and south, with southerly winds to 2 metres in the east. A few warnings about: a strong wind warning for all Tasmanian coastal waters, a bushwalkers alert for the west and central plateau, and a warning to sheep graziers for southeastern grazing districts. Sunday's forecast: a possible morning shower for Hobart 13, a cloudy day on the way for Richmond 13 also, showers easing for Ooze a top of 12. A fine day in Launceston 14, Devonport 13, Deloraine cloudy and 12. A possible shower in Burnie 13, showers for Strawn 12 and Curry a shower or 2 13 there. A partly cloudy day for St Helens and Swansea 14, wind easing for Whitemark a top of 13 degrees. As we look ahead to Monday, showers about the west and north, extending to the south in the evening. Tuesday, showers about the west and south, extending throughout during the evening. And finally, Wednesday, showers in the west, far south and Bass Strait Islands, but mainly fine elsewhere. Further afield, a sunny day for Perth, 20, 15 for Adelaide. Darwin, sunny and 34. Brisbane, warm and 28. Sydney, 17. Canberra, fine and 15. Melbourne, a shower and 13 degrees.
Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Good night.